Good evening. My name is Maggie Miller, and I am a member of the League of Women Voters of Fremont County and will be the forum moderator this evening. When the League of Women Voters of Fremont County asked me to serve, I readily agreed, not only because I believe our democracy is based in our right to vote and our responsibility to vote, but also because the decisions of the county commissioners have such a direct and immediate bearing on our community. I'm pleased to do my part to help educate Fremont County voters about the choices they have in this election booth. We have 5 candidates running for Fremont County Commission. For District 1, Larry Allen is running unopposed and is not present tonight. For District 5, there are 4 candidates. Travis Barney is running unaffiliated, Polly Hines is running as a Democrat, Jennifer Mccarty is running as a Republican, and Bob Townsend is running as an independent. Here is the format of tonight's forum. We will begin with a prepared 2-minute opening statement by each candidate. Candidates were asked to identify reasons that they were running for county commission. Then we will follow with 2 questions, allowing for a 2-minute response by each candidate. We will randomly alternate question leads. We ask that each candidate respect the time limit. We move on to the next section of the forum at 7:20. That round is called the one-word lightning round. Each candidate will be given 1 word and 1 minute to respond to that word. The next candidate will be given a different word and will have 1 minute to respond. The following one-word lightning round will only have a 30-second response. Each candidate will be given a total of 2 words. The idea with this round is to hear what associations each candidate makes when given a simple prompt. The lightning round will be followed by a final question, which allows a 1-minute response. Finally, the candidates will be presented with a short scenario. We ask that the live audience refrain from clapping or commenting during candidate responses, and we ask that the candidates keep their masks on except when they're speaking, and remember to put them back on when they're done speaking. The masks are for the protection of other people here and not each of you, actually. So we can move on to the prepared opening statements, and by order of random draw, we'll begin with Bob Townsend.
There are 3 kinds of folks in the world. Folks who make things happen, folks who watch things happen, and folks who ask, what happened? I make things happen. I had a college deferment for draft number 7, but I volunteered for the Air Force wanting to be an air traffic controller. The Air Force made me a communications analyst. After Vietnam, I was accepted into retraining in air traffic control. I earned bachelor's and master's degrees in aeronautics from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. A promotion board selected me for the highest enlisted rank, Chief Master Sergeant. I wore that rank for 6 years. Along with my leadership jobs, I served on the Republic of Korea Airspace Management Board for a year. I served on the Airspace Aviation Safety Board for 2 years in Arizona. Next, I consolidated 2 air traffic control facilities that were 50 miles apart in southern New Mexico. I led a team of radio, telephone, radar, and support crews to achieve our goal under budget and ahead of schedule. I was the first enlisted person to serve as an Air Force Air Show director. The general I worked for said it was the best air show he'd seen in 29 years. I retired after 14 assignments in 28 years. I completed a BA in journalism at my home state's University of Wyoming. Back in my home county, I operated a business for 9 years. I volunteered and I'm still serving on the Fremont County 1 Cent Citizens Committee to guide the county roads office to prioritize and wisely spend the 1 cent tax the citizens voted in. I volunteered and am currently serving on the Fremont County Solid Waste Disposal District Board to guide landfill and transfer station planning into the future. I love research and I know how to serve the people. That's why I'm a candidate for Fremont County Commissioner in District 5. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Townsend. Now we'll hear from Travis Barney.
Good evening. I want to start first by thanking the League of Women Voters, County 10, Wind River Internet, and our great, amazing Fremont County Library facility for allowing me to come this evening. My name is Travis Gary Barney. I'm a lifelong resident outside of the time that I spent away studying and working of Fremont County and of Lander. I spent a semester at the University of Wyoming after completing a mission for my church in Costa Rica. I loved my time at UW. Unfortunately, it was ended quickly as a result of a relationship that went south. But I went on to work and in the community and eventually finished my degree at Brigham Young University with an emphasis in history. Since then, I've had the opportunity to work as a rancher locally, as a local businessman, and then eventually I got the wonderful opportunity to finish my master's degree in global politics in Great Britain. After moving back and spending some time with my family, my father suffered a heart attack, and I ended up taking over the family businesses, and I've been here with my family ever since. The thing I want to say about why I'm here, standing before you today, is that I feel an innate sense of responsibility for the beautiful region and community that I live in. My life here in Fremont County has been a true blessing, and I hope to serve the people of this area as a county commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barney. Now we'll hear from Jennifer Mccarty.
Okay. I'm Jennifer Mccarty, your current Fremont County Commissioner. I would like to thank the Fremont County League of Women Voters and County 10 for the invite to this debate. It is always an honor to come before my peers. Fremont County is a wonderful place. The traditions, values, and principles are treasures of this wonderful place we call home. I am running for re-election as the only fiscal conservative Republican on the general election ballot for Fremont County Commissioner District 5. I am honored and humbled to have served as my first term as your commissioner, and I am asking for your vote for my second term. During my first term, I have used my professional experiences and common sense to find long-term solutions with a needs, not wants, approach for sensible budgeting and governing. Fremont County, being the second largest county, has a large and complex road system. The 1% tax, along with transportation grants and being proactive, has resulted in millions of dollars worth of updated and improved infrastructure. Budget cuts from 2020 to 2021 have been unprecedented with economical downturns. Elected officials and department heads made a cohesive team effort to come together to ratify a $15 million budget with a $4.7 million deficit to keep the county's revenues in the black. This revenue trend may not change in the immediate future. This is where experience does matter, and I'm the only one here at this debate that can say, I have met the challenges head on. To build a strong future requires vigilance and strong, proven leadership.
Thank you, Ms. McCarty. Now we'll hear from Polly Hines.
Hello. Dos. Sant. Hola. And to the small community of Basque sheep herders, Kaiho. We are a county of many different cultures, speaking many languages, but communicating in English, adapting and changing, striving and succeeding together united. I'm Polly Hines, and I'm determined to be a new commissioner for all of Fremont County. Exactly one day after my birthday in March, the whole planet began to shut down. For the first time in my adult life, I immediately realized we all needed to do something for each other, individually, but together. The seeds for this journey to represent our shared goals and interests were planted right then. And the opportunity to apply myself to that challenge is right now. So then, What are shared concerns and ideas for Fremont County? We love where we live. Let's keep it that way. We love our libraries. Let's keep them wide open, vibrant centers for our communities. We love being able to drive safely on our roads. Let's keep them well maintained for all county residents. We would like to have more top doctors and practitioners be right here in our county. Let's invite them here and ask them to stay. We would like to cut down crime and poverty. Let's forge new links and stronger ties between our municipalities, community organizations, the commission, and the tribal entities. We would like to know what is going on in our local governments. Let's put glass doors between the citizens and their representatives. Let's meet with citizens in relaxed settings where people are not afraid to ask questions. We will act as if it is impossible to fail. We will come together, each in our own ways, to build better lives here in Fremont County.
Thank you, Ms. Hines. We will now move to the first question.
Excuse me, sorry. Sorry. Thumbs up, guess what? Excuse me,
Levity is good.
I cannot figure out why it's not going on. Phew. Got it now, sorry.
All right, by random order of draw, Jennifer McCarty will be the first to answer this question, and then you'll each have an opportunity. Governor Meade commissioned the Endow Council to chart the course for the state's economy for the next 20 years. Governor Gordon asked this economic think tank to identify discrete action pieces from the Endow, including healthcare as a foundational area for improvement, as well as in advanced manufacturing and agriculture. What is Fremont County's role in this charted course? As county commissioners, how would you include Fremont County in this action order?
That is more of a legislative question, but the county, with that, we have a planning commission. I would say economics would play the biggest role with some of that.
Okay.
Could I have the question again,
Holly?
please?
What'd you say? I'm sorry?
Could I have the question again, please?
Yes, you can. Governor Meade commissioned the Endow Council to chart the course for the state's economy for the next 20 years. Governor Gordon asked this economic think tank to identify discrete action pieces from the Endow, including healthcare as a foundational area for improvement, as well as advanced manufacturing and agriculture. What is Fremont County's role in this charted course? As county commissioner, how would you include Fremont County in this action?
I would include Fremont County specifically in agriculture and in building up the infrastructure for telecommunications and transportation. And I would do that by promoting Fremont County as the place to be for new innovative ideas for business and for people to move here that are professionals that enjoy this lifestyle and build their lives here with their families.
Thank you. Bob Townsend.
That's an intricate question. I believe agriculture is our base. I see cows walking through Atlantic City all year long. Today, the BLM told the folks to get them off of there, so they're in their corrals now. This year, talking with many folks who have come from other states to Wyoming, who work from their homes, they have learned that they don't need to be in a big city that's terrorized in order to do their jobs. I think we could capitalize on that instance in Fremont County and sell ourselves as the place to work from home.
Thank you. Travis Barney.
I think the real answer would be to take the time to actually visit with the folks of Fremont County and find out from them what changes they'd like to see. The idea of bringing business to Fremont County is a fabulous one, but what attracts business? What incentives are there for businesses to come? I think research would have to be done on what places like Sheridan have done, for example, to attract new businesses. There are a number of, Sheridan at the moment is thriving. And I think looking at those case studies and saying, these are things that we could realistically do within Fremont County would be a great way to approach it. And then taking that to the people and finding out what they want. That would be my answer.
Okay, thank you. These are complicated questions, and I would remind you that if anybody wants to talk as much as 2 minutes, they should feel free to do so. The second question involves infrastructure. Fremont County's land use plan has not been updated since 2004. Currently, the County Commission is in the process of reviewing changes to the land use plan so that the plan reflects the changes made since 2004 to the State Natural Resource Plan. What changes can be made to the plan to make it work better across a very diverse range of interests, including agriculture, mineral development, conservation, and planning for future generations? Polly Hines, you're first.
Sure. Infrastructure will be critical to build. We've got to have the facilities and the support service for those things. We need to be able to attract these top doctors and build with local governments to do these things. And we can do that by integrating meetings with all different parts of the community. And the land use plan of 2008 is dealing with the same problems that we're dealing now. When I read it, I noticed that it said we have a lot of people who don't know what to do about middle income, lower income housing for workers. We don't know about our water. It's such a valuable resource, and we need to plan for having water and the proper kind of sewage systems to handle that water. And they've built the new plats for those areas so that it can be done. And as we grow, which we will because it's so popular here and so many people have come and fallen in love with it, that in that use plan, we need to be gathering information about roads and water and land use and how we can recreate in those areas and share that space with other people and other people's ideas of how public land should be used. It's absolutely imperative that we promote multi-use in the best way we can, that we take care of our water resources, and that we plan in an integrated way with all the parts of the system, BLM, all these things that need to be asked, what's best?
Thank you. And Jennifer Mccarty.
Okay, with the goal of the Fremont County Commissioners is to update. And with this, we will not open up this plan completely. It will have limited openings. We've already set those goals with the company that we've hired. This plan envisions a new revision to be titled the Natural Resource Management Plan. It has no zoning requirements in it, so it does not require zoning. The plan also will be detailed with the company that we hired with our guidance and our approvals as we work through it, and then we'll have a small focus group on it. I know some of the stuff that of our interest was broadband and better cell phone towers, things of that stuff for people's safety and security. We have it'll be an economic and social profile for the county to update that so we can understand a little more about our economics that's in the county, and then also minerals and approvals for those in the body of that. So as this plan works along, the scope of it will be limited because it took almost 11 years to actually put that plan together, and we will not be working 11 years on this. So just kind of let you know that it is coming, and then we have hired a company to that does this specific type of work, and then we will be monitoring it. So thank you.
Thank you. Travis Barney, you're next.
The beauty of plans is that they're forward-thinking. That's always been my thoughts, is we have to focus on the here and now, but at the same time, if we can think ahead and plan for certain contingencies, then hopefully we can deal with those ahead of time. The thing I think about the land use plan is while it does give us certain goals in terms of infrastructure and plans for how we will use our resources, we need to be prepared to change those to some degree. And my understanding is the county commissioners have already done that to some extent. The reasons being, you never foresee a pandemic. You never foresee situations like the one we're in right now. So, and regarding the multi-use question, because there are so many parties involved, you have to look at it from every angle and every side. And those things can change with time, with new legislation, with new situations on the ground. So I do think it's very important to be forward-thinking and make these plans, but I think we also need to be adaptable and always listening to the people of our municipalities and our counties to hear what they're needing and what their needs are, and then change the plan accordingly.
Okay, thank you. Bob Townsend.
Having resided in Atlantic City for 14 years, I certainly see every stripe of individual who uses our land. We get cattle, we get the cowboys and girls, four-wheelers, motorcycles, bicyclists, hikers transitioning the Continental Divide Trail. We see every sort of person who uses our land in Fremont County. Some of them, we're the only part of the county they see. I think Jeffrey City is very similar to that. The cyclists and the hikers that go through there are very similar, using the resources we have available that attracts them to come and see us. I think we need to be very careful in revising this plan. I think as I recall, it was 159 pages that I downloaded off the county commissioner's website, the current plan. It's very intricate, it's very detailed. I think we should be very cautious going forward not to put restrictions on things that we will not be able to enforce.
Okay. Thank you very much. We've been moving on rather efficiently, and so there's time for another question in the area of budget cuts. And this time, Travis Barney, you'll be up first. The county's fiscal year 2021 budget was cut by $4.7 million. It's anticipated that the budget for fiscal year 2022 will see additional budget cuts. What is your vision for the long-term health of the county's infrastructure given budget deficits, and what concrete steps would you emphasize during your term to support our infrastructure?
I had a chance to visit a person I respect and admire. When I decided to throw my hat into the race, I didn't want to be completely unaware of things, and so I sat down with a number of people, and one thing we talked about was how difficult a situation we're in, and that you referred to. There are certain essentials that we just simply have to have regarding first responders, regarding infrastructure, maintenance of roads, different things like that have to come first, I guess is how you would put it. My impression and my thoughts on this matter are that we on a literally daily basis way where we can best continue to serve the public and satisfy those essential needs, and at the same time provide the level and standard of living that we're used to here in Fremont County. I mentioned in my opening statement thanking the library, the amazing institution we have. It's an incredible facility, and I love that we have them throughout the county for all residents to enjoy. However, the reality is when push comes to shove and you worry about being able to provide those essential services, certain things have to give. I do honestly believe that whoever becomes county commissioner needs to have their thumb on the pulse of spending and where the funds are at in order to know how best to serve the residents of Fremont County.
Okay, thank you. Polly Hines, you are next. Okay.
I am against cutting services that the residents of Fremont County see as essential. I know that there's different varieties of what people think is essential, but the people that I've talked to on the ground after talking to literally hundreds of people in the district is that these services are libraries, police, roads, transportation services, 4-H and FFA youth ag programs, and senior citizens and their support services. I'm a fiscal conservative. I am in favor of cutting down overages and excesses. I'm in favor of protecting the taxpayers' money above all, and I believe vigilance in watching over our expenses and asking questions on the behalf of the voters and the residents of Fremont County need to be public and accessible. We need to address the shortfalls in utilizing community involvement and business innovation, and there are tools available to us in the toolkit, such as grants, endowments, and cooperative fundraising and cost sharing. And I believe these working together will help ease these budget shortfalls and keep our essential services going. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob Townsend.
Thank you. Another intricate question. Great questions you all have come up with tonight. This is one that's near and dear to my heart because I consider myself a fiscal conservative as well. I think if we have an unbalanced budget, that's a wrong thing to do. Primary services are things that people need for safety and security. We have to ensure that. My first response when I heard that the library system in Fremont County cut 13 positions because of the budget cuts this year, I was devastated because I too love the library. But the library does not fall in safety and security. So I think we need to look very hard. I think the current county commissioners did a fabulous job in considering safety and security first. I don't see that would change in my position, from my position. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Mccarty.
Yes. I want to say that many of our county services are statutorily required, and that includes elected offices and departments whose jobs are services. So only if the county is at risk financially would other non-statutory services be limited. And raising taxes on people also is not an initiative of the commission. So I've heard that as well. I want to read off here a little bit about where our budget is, since I'm the only one up here that's actually been through this. Our budget with the county, the top budget is our sheriff's office. He has 3 budgets actually, a little over $8 million. The transportation department would be the second highest, and that's $2.3 million. The library is number 3, and it stands at $1.3 million. So then we have the county attorney's office at $1.2 million. So the library initially stands above. Now, I just wanted to put that out there because I've heard so much about that. And we have to take things as they come. The $4.7 million in a $15 million budget is very difficult to sit there and go through. So the requirements, that we put forth and initiated for the budget was definitely security first. Infrastructure is always at the forefront as well. And then the statutory requirements are always looked at first. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw some numbers out there at you so you understand.
Okay, thank you. So we're moving on to the first lightning round. And for this lightning round, you will have 1 minute to tell us whatever you'd like that you associate with a given word. And Dot and I are having a debate over here about, in lightning round 2, whether you get 30 seconds or a minute, and we'll figure that out by then, okay? So the theme is challenges facing Fremont County in the first group. And Polly, you are first. Job opportunities.
We need to build those tremendously. We need to be able to build. You're supposed to say one word, right?
No. You
Only
get
one
to
word?
talk for a whole minute about whatever you think about with job
Wonderful.
opportunities.
Okay. There are tremendous amount of job opportunities in Fremont County. We just have to look laterally at them. And when I say that, I mean you need to think about what kind of businesses you would want here. And I believe, because of having a bookstore in the middle of nowhere for 21 years, that if you build it, they will come. And I truly believe that, and it's worked. And I believe if we just go and out and talk with people, and I mean literally promotion outside the state, it will build a great number of young, innovative people and stable industry here.
Thank you. Okay, Travis Barney, your word is connectivity.
Connectivity. Well, I would say that to some extent deals with Polly's question. I think that our ability to connect technologically will shape greatly the future of Fremont County. I think we can see it every day around us, right, as things change. More and more people no longer have to go to work. So if they can secure a high-speed internet connection that is secure and stable, they can work anywhere, literally. I think the goals of having fiber throughout Fremont County are certainly viable, and I think they're doable with the support of the state, and I hope that we will look to achieve those in the near future.
Thank you. So Jennifer, this is a little like the other, and your word is internet.
Internet. That I have a very poor service of. So Alexa doesn't work. So internet, that is a really, it's horrible for our county and rural areas. Cities and municipality areas that have a great internet service most of the time, I would think, that I've seen. But rural communities, yeah, that and broadband. I have a bandwidth, so it takes a while. It's a little past what we used to call, don't send me a picture because it takes an hour to download. So with this broadband or internet services, that is, was through the Endow was talking about this years ago, and we've not heard much about that since. I would like to see that be reinitiated, and actually I brought that up with the Fremont County Resource Management Plan, new plan, to incorporate that.
Okay, thank you. All right, Bob. Your word is transportation.
For an air traffic controller, what a perfect thing. I told Dot earlier, I collect dictionaries, so I've been studying for this test. My favorite class in all of my academic working toward my aviation degrees was a class that covered every type of transportation system known to man, including pipeline. And being on the Roads 1 Cent Committee, it's certainly a high point in my life for the last 8 years since I've been on that committee. Our roads are so important. I think we do a fabulous job of maintaining them. The 1 cent tax certainly helped. It gave us 4 times more money than we would have had the first year we got it, the tax. So we were able to repair bridges and fix dirt roads and do some pavement stuff. It's really important. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to give him 30 seconds or a minute? I think a minute, eh? Do we have time? Okay. All right, we're going to give you a minute again, just like last time. And Bob, you have to go first this time.
Okay.
And your word is zoning.
Zoning. Well, in Atlantic City, we don't know what that means. I've been to one of the Landers City Council meetings, maybe one of the first ones that got really heated about the new zoning ordinance the council planned. Created kind of an uproar here in Lander. And I've been staying in touch with that through friends who have been going to the meetings since they live here in town. I think the people who live in a residential area that has zoning need to control their destiny. Out in the hinterlands where we have no zoning, I've heard people tell me, oh gosh, I hate seeing this or that place go up in Atlantic City. Can't you all get together with the community and prohibit that? And I said, none of us want that, because we don't want them to tell us how to live our lives or what to do with our property. So I'm pretty laissez-faire about the zoning. I think the people that live in the district need to control it.
Okay, thank you. All right, Travis. 2 words, population growth.
So I would think this would go along with the planning, kind of, to some extent, that we talked about earlier. Having lived in Utah and studied there, and done some of my education there, one thing I saw is an explosion of population. And what that's done in Utah is really tapped out a lot of local resources, especially water, for example. So I think, like we talked about earlier, the thing that I love about planning is it's forward thinking. It's assuming that things are going to change, and we know they are. So as far as population growth goes, I think there are 2 things. I think it can be a really good thing for Fremont County to a certain degree, and at the same time, I think we need to plan for those results, for those effects, and make long-term plans that address those.
Okay, thank you. I'm sort of amused by these words now that we've had the opportunity to hear these people speak, because Polly, you got the word water.
Perfect.
There you go.
I don't think there's anything more important for human beings than land and water. Water is the essential for all of us to be able to live here in our communities. I think the resources need to be carefully managed and planned ahead. And once again, the planning is going to be essential. And forward thinking. We are not going to stay this size forever. This summer, I have witnessed at Sweetwater Station, past our house, literally thousands and thousands of people go by. And out of that, you know, at least 1% will be interested in moving here. So if you multiply that over a number of years, we will have to plan for water use, and it will be essential. And I know we can do that.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer, natural resources.
Natural resources. That would be our lands, mostly, that we've talked about, public lands, and I believe in public lands and public hands. Also, I believe that we should have multiple use of lands. That should stay there. our goal for that is to encourage use. And one thing that with the county commissioners that makes them different than the municipalities is we do deal with federal government, the BLM, Game and Fish, those entities, government entities. So having a good relationship with them as well is vital for our communities, for our people, and the uses of those lands for us to keep that good tradition going.
Okay, thank you. We're now going to move on to a different segment, and it's our scenario that we have for you. And what we would like to do is give you a scenario, and then you can have 15 seconds to prepare your answer and perhaps write it down, kind of like Jeopardy, I suppose. We want you to pretend that you were supplied with a new batch of candidate election yard signs to distribute throughout Townsend, Fremont County. What 3 words, not including Fremont County Commissioner or your name, would you put on your new yard sign? Has that been 15 seconds, you think? All right, Jennifer Mccarty, you get to tell us first.
Your vote counts.
Okay, I like that. All right, Bob.
For the people.
Okay. Travis Barney, what would you say?
My wife told me my yard signs were too busy, and so I took these 3 words off of them. And those are respect, service, and integrity.
Polly?
Yard sign.
3 words? 3 words.
Listening to you.
Okay. Thank you. What time is it? Okay, I have time for an extra question, Dot tells me. And Travis, you get to go first this time. Did you say 30 seconds? Oh, you get 30 seconds for your response, apparently. County commissioners fill over 20 liaison roles within various interests and areas of Fremont County's government work. Where do your interests lie specific to these liaison roles and other responsibilities as a county commissioner? And how will you help the commission to do its work through your interests?
Is that liaison rules? So one of the reasons I got involved in this race was someone expressed concern to me over the liaising being done between the county and the municipalities. The reality is the county doesn't exist without the municipalities. Likewise, the state without the municipalities and the counties. I think it's vital that we take the time to listen to each other and approach one another. Our country is a divisive place, but if we'll listen, I think it can be much better than it is.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer Mccarty.
Liaison duties. Well, this was going to be part of my closing. I've served on as a liaison for the county commission, and I will repeat it in my closing, for the museums, historical preservation, recreation, planning, association of governments, and solid waste. And I have enjoyed every one of them. And it gives us a great insight as to what's going on. So when I go back to the commission, and the same with them, each commissioner, we can report of what's going on within those entities.
Okay, thank you. Polly Hines.
I would love to be liaison for the library. I would also love to be liaison with the tribal entities. I would love to work with FCAP, which I learned by going to commission meetings, exists, the Fremont County Association of Governments. It's a fantastic thing that needs to be tapped, and I would love to be the liaison for that.
Okay, Bob Townsend.
Thank you. Well, as a committee member of the Solid Waste Disposal District in the 1 Cent Committee, and I was on the Historic Preservation Board Commission for a short period. The commissioner input to the committees and boards and commissions is invaluable. History would be one of my focal points. Obviously, solid waste, I've been on the board now for a year and a half, would be a high point as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Move to closings. Or we could do one. Okay. Dot talked me into this. What are the characteristics of a great county commissioner, and how do you fill those characteristics? And we don't have those specified, so we're going to pick on Polly first this time.
Oh, goody.
And we'll give you an amount of time. How about we give you a minute?
Characteristics of a Fremont County Commissioner. Honest, watchdog, penny pinching, able to communicate with all kinds of people to make things happen. I'm a thinker, a learner, and a doer, because information is nothing unless you turn it into knowledge, and knowledge is nothing unless you apply it. And I think that the application of those things is truly essential for us to grow and prosper here in Fremont County. If I were to say anything, I would say, if I were a dog, I would be a terrier.
Thank you. Jennifer Mccarty, what would you say?
I would say I like people with diverse backgrounds and business backgrounds to in offices because they understand both sides of the paycheck. I would say tough but fair, with your priorities being overseer of the county budget. You need a good background in that. We are not legislators, and so we cannot initiate things. We watch over our statutes. Our one of your number one things that you should keep in mind, also for a good person to be in office, is defending your state and U.S. Constitution. So.
Thank you. How about you, Travis?
I think you've got to be willing to get your hands dirty. You've got to be willing to put in the time. You can do the minimum necessary. That's always the case, right, with every job or position or whatever it is. But we need to be willing to put in the time to find the answers. I told all my friends that I spoke to, like I mentioned earlier, that I was hoping to be a new set of eyes, a new set of ears, and hopefully not too big a mouth. I think listening is a key ingredient. The three words that I mentioned earlier that I would like to have back on my yard signs: respectful, willing to serve, someone who has integrity, who stands up for what they believe in. Those all make, I think, for a great county commissioner.
Thank you. And Bob Townsend, you get to go last because you get to go first for the closing statements in a moment.
Okay, thank you. Listening was the very first thing I wrote down on my list. You have to be a good listener because your job is to listen to people that you're serving for. You have to be a good communicator because you have not only to listen, but you have got to communicate back to those people and tell them how things are, what's going on. You have to be personable. You have to be open and willing to engage with people in every type of venue. And lastly, maybe most important, you need a vast experience in a lot of different areas in life. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And now we'll move to the final portion with our closing statements. And Bob Townsend, you are indeed first.
Okay. Well, since I was the only one that didn't thank you in the beginning, my opening statement, because I had crunched my 2 minutes and that didn't fit.
You only get a minute,
I know.
so
I
it's
want to
fine.
thank the league very much for posting this, for putting this together for us. I think it's exciting to be able to do this in front of our constituents and to have them be able to see who we are and what we do and what we have done and what we think. I think that's important. I really appreciate you putting it together. And this room is my favorite room in land of Wyoming, if not Fremont County. So this is a great venue for this. Thanks.
Thank you. And next is Jennifer Mccarty.
Okay. As your county commissioner, my concern are always your safety and well-being, infrastructure, fiscal responsibility, preserving personal property rights, defending the state U.S. Constitution and the statutes. I served as the Fremont County Liaison to the Museum Commission, Historical Preservation, Recreation, Planning, Weed and Pest, Association of Governments, and Solid Waste. The administrative duties of a commissioner are complex, a full-time job. I am a skilled problem solver with common sense solutions. I always have an open door policy, responding to immediate needs of our county. I ask for your vote for the people's seat of Fremont County for District 5 in this general election, where experience really matters. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you. Mr. Barney.
I'd love to say that I think my educational background or my business background or my experience interacting with and networking with tons of people might really make me a qualified county commissioner. But the truth is, what I think might set me apart is my love for this place, my love for the people, my desire to serve, and my willingness to put every ounce of energy that I can into making Fremont County as nice a place as we all know it is for everyone. There are painful times ahead. I don't think we've seen the end of this. It may get worse before it gets better. But I would like to be there serving you and trying to make it as painless as possible. And I hope you give me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. And last, Ms. Hines.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody here who made this possible. I certainly appreciate it. It's been a very exciting experience, and I've really enjoyed it. I am strong, but not mean. I'm a listener, but I'm not afraid to speak up. I understand that I don't know everything. And I also understand that experience is not necessarily a predictor of success. Desire, application, wisdom, and hard work are. I am not asking you to change your party to vote for me. I am asking you to change your mind and vote for a new commissioner who will listen to you and get it done. I am a fiscal conservative with a broad-minded view of people and problems. I will use that for the people of Fremont County. I am clearly in the middle of it for you. Thank you, and vote for Polly.
Well, that concludes this evening's forum, and we very much want to thank all of you, Jennifer Mccarty, Polly Hines, Travis Barney, Bob Townsend, for taking the time to let the voters of Fremont County know more about what you think on these important issues. We really thank you for running for office. It's a huge effort, and I personally am grateful for how civil and thoughtful this entire conversation was this evening. You're shining examples of what is wonderful about our democracy, civil debate that engages in real, thought-provoking conversation. Please stay tuned for an additional forum that's going to be hosted by the League of Women Voters of Fremont County, set on October 1st at 6:30 p.m., and it is with regard to the school district number 1. You can also go to the League of Women Voters of Fremont County website or County 10 elections page to find out about all matters election-oriented. You can also, anybody who's missed any of these forums can watch them. They've been recorded. Finally, when you leave the Carnegie Room, go out the way you came in on the side street that faces 2nd Street. Don't go through the library or you'll get in trouble. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was funny. That was